What are you playing again?
It's on the screen, dog. Okay, I'm going to talk for 10 seconds. Or like 2 seconds. A, B, C, D, suck my dick. Okay, now you guys talk.
We're gonna talk for 10 seconds. I am going to talk longer than 10 seconds because it's just my style to talk longer than I should actually talk. But then I start getting the tone of where I actually start enunciating my words too much and people stop losing interest. It's actually a really interesting tactic to get people to stop listening to what you're saying.
Okay, good. Are you guys still talking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, we're already here, so I might as well start. We don't have to end the stream. Alright.
Can they hear us? Or no?
Yeah, they can hear you.
Can they?
I was making sure they could. Alright. Let's see. I'll turn this up just a little bit. Okay, we're good. Okay, penis time.
Wait, don't start. I'm gonna go make another quesadilla.
Start.
I'm joking.
Oh, okay, I was about to say.
Start.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm not gonna make you wait.
Okay. You guys can hear it, right? The game?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
it's perfect.
Is this a scary game?
I have no idea what this game is about.
We're
Hi
about
there.
to.
Did you just
Thank
buy
you very
it
much
just
for
because?
playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote the Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda.
Coda?
These games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff. And his work pointed me in a very powerful direction.
Coda.
I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town.
Are you actually in
And
control?
instead,
Yeah.
this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever.
What
And
a
I think he
beta.
really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even
This is
really
kinda
pausing to
boring.
try to
know.
understand what he had just made. Until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch,
What the
you can
fuck is
email me
this? What is this game? I thought this was like
Oh,
a...
come on, leave the guy alone. He's telling a story. Come on, give him a
That's about it
chance.
for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November
Watch it be
2008.
like a psychological horror.
Imagine.
What's the point of this game?
I have no idea. Whatever.
What do you mean point? I mean, the game doesn't have a point.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Dude, I got a gun.
rat.
This game is
This
interesting.
game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
I ran out of bullets already.
Because you shot them at the wall. You fucking clown.
Did you see them? What if there was like a alien?
Oh, what happened to something?
Chloe's getting
Awesome.
scared. What the fuck?
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Bruh.
But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Bad map design.
Ah!
I swear to God.
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know.
That's
There's
so
really no
useless,
reason for it that
though.
I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past.
No.
Wow.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Okay, this whispers.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. But for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you
No,
give
bitch.
yourself?
I have to sacrifice myself, even though.
Let me pause here for a second.
You
What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level.
Oh.
But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Okay.
You just restart.
Oh. Oh.
Transcendence.
Oh, look, you can find the right way
The
to
beam
go out.
causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed
reading too far
against
into
all
it,
of the
guys.
hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know.
Tell me
I
when
have
it's
no
like
idea
the
what he was
actual game.
thinking, but
Is
what's clear
this
is that
just like a
after making
lesson?
this, something
I think this is
lodges
the whole
itself in
game.
his brain.
It's just him
He wants to do
talking
more
you
of
through
these
his
really
games.
weird and experimental
Is
designs.
it free? Tell me
So
it's
he
free.
stops work on this.
Well, I got it for
Pay
free.
for
A
this.
stream of tiny
Okay.
little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Oh, another horror game.
Dude, this is. You know those like memes where it's like,
This is the back rooms.
yeah, yeah.
Chloe, close
Yep.
your eyes.
In this game, you can only walk backwards.
Oh, what the hell?
I
That's
don't know.
that's weird. Oh,
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
wasn't there a door here?
It's a short little thought,
Oh.
it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Sorry. Ooh,
Oh my god, it's thunder.
you are now entering.
Go off road. Go off road.
I'm trying to, it won't let me.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
It was like 2 seconds.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
Ooh,
I wish
stairs.
I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
I get slower as I walk up here.
What are you gonna do?
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
I'm pressing enter. Oh.
Watch it say like you gay. Oh.
You gay nigga.
I take this is much more serious than you gay. Oh lord.
What does it
Read
say?
them out, Daniel.
You are the queen, destined your jewelry while your kingdom is destroyed.
Never mind, stop reading them.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Ah, that's kind of creepy. I don't know.
Huh.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
You too.
Oh, I totally see what he was going for.
What?
This fucking maniac.
He's a genius.
Oh, Daniel! This is getting scary!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Bro, what happened? Why is it
Chloe,
so,
there's
like,
no one here.
ominous?
You're not killing anybody.
It's not that kind of game.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Daniel! I'm scared.
Oh, close it. And then run in.
Don't forget
look
that
at that. I'm
solution,
a
because we're going to see this puzzle
genius.
again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Hello, class of 2020.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
I know.
What the heck?
Daniel!
No, that's a
So
lie. That's not. It's
He
not
made
that much. It
so
can't
much
be.
levels.
How about that?
Dan,
There was more to it
this
than we had
guy's
any way of
crazy.
knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player.
Oh!
So if your role here is not to understand,
Stop!
then what is it?
Dude, I swear!
What is your role, Daniel?
Is this on the source engine?
Aha.
Huh.
So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in.
I
Some
think
larger meaning that we won't
isn't
be
it
able to
about
grasp
Coda,
until we've
not
seen
the
all of them.
narrator?
And once
So-
we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Oh,
Didn't turn into a
Let's
horde.
talk
Yes,
about video game
no.
development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot
Duh.
do. So in other words, the engine
What an
is a set
idiot.
of tools for game development.
that need to be saved?
Fool. I said fool.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly.
Oh,
One of
God.
the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors.
Yes.
That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator
know,
shape what kinds of
boy.
creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to
Just jump
notice
into
how
the
they
abyss,
seem
don't
to
even
stem
lie.
from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Into the abyss. There's no. That's such a lie.
This guy is weird. Why would he make?
He's obviously a mental patient.
What does it say? What does it say? There's a sign.
Say anything.
Oh,
What are you
it's
talking
arrow.
about,
It's just an
Kyle?
arrow.
What does that sign say? It says up, but it's an arrow.
I hate this. I
Pages.
hate this.
This
The
guy
way-
thinks of dungeons.
Hold up, go backwards. Go backwards.
Justin.
Then open back up.
He designs
Not
dungeons.
Oh, you're going up. You're elevating.
Welcome to Koda's rape dungeon.
No.
Don't say that.
This prison,
Oh, okay.
funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full
Why?
hour before
Who
letting you
would
go.
do that?
If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that. This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it. There was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else.
What
Believe
the
me, I
fuck?
played every single one of those just to find out if there was
Something's
like
wrong
a
with
gag
this
hidden somewhere.
guy.
There wasn't.
What? It's a strange thing.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
So is Koda dead, or?
No,
I would
because
assume
like
so, that's
the
why he's
narrator
very
said
fun.
earlier,
So, I mean,
was
like, he says
I
he
wish
wants
I
it to
could
return
kill
to
them
gaming,
for
What are
but
those
like
dudes? What did they say?
first people.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to
Oh,
respond.
Oh.
Oh, 1, 2, or 3.
Two.
Three.
Number 2. I don't remember anything.
This time pick 1.
Okay.
Is it decision?
Oh yeah, that's good. Now I feel bad. Because this is supposed to be really artsy and abstract.
Supposed to teach you a moment. 1.
2. Okay. Just press 1 the whole time.
I will have to say I've never seen dialogue options in a Source game before, so that's interesting.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Oh yeah, that lovely Source corridor.
Lump.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think.
Because he's a
I think that up
lunatic.
to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and
Basically a
abstract
moth.
games with no clear purpose, and
what
maybe
I
he
said.
can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point.
Oh,
He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a
But
destination.
it can't lead to anything if
Which
it's
is
not
what
published.
this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're gonna see it in the work as well. His games are just gonna become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
I'm being enlightened.
Join the monks of Coda. Join us. That sounds interesting.
Soccer.
No, nobody. That's not real. And this,
So first off,
No,
I'm sure you
nobody
can
would.
deduce this,
Type
but
in new
this
game.
game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just
Alternate
so
person.
different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
you have
In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his
Look at all
attention.
the notes he left. He's like fucking.
I was over enthusiastic, but he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs
I'm gonna say it right
and
now, he
has
killed
no way to
himself.
express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Hey man, you said he's lonely. What else is a lonely person? He's sad and depressed and killed himself.
But it's ironic, isn't it, that in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's
Seductive.
game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is
Fucking
why I always
weirdo!
liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world.
How
And then I
naive
feel
we
less
were.
lonely, too.
I get it. I get what this game is about. It's called the Beginner's Guide. This is supposed to be a beginner's guide to writing like abstract stories, basic level design. A guide to making new games, modern games, not like old linear stories, but new and abstract sorts of things.
But how do you make things abstract? It's like
This
people
is
are just not
abstract.
copying.
Like abstract
Oh,
is
yeah, yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to be something that you don't quite understand. It's a bigger picture that it's kind of hard to see. It's your interpretation. Like, what is this building you're standing in? This building is really abstract because it keeps changing. The textures keep changing. The design, the architecture always changes. It's very abstract.
At the end of this
That's a
level, we're going
good
to see the
question.
puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means.
Are you,
Each
are
of
you
these
stuck on the
games
screen as
represents
you
an
walk
idea
around?
that
You
was
can
on
read
Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one. in each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Kotick can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for
That's
moving
cool.
on.
Chloe. It's Chloe.
Something new.
No, it's Chloe. She's
And
whispering.
because there's this dark area
Wait,
between
what?
the doors,
Wait, hang on.
a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause.
Wait, actually, is this from the game?
Just for a moment,
I just see
Yeah,
I just see
it's
a
Chloe's.
few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here.
Yes,
To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
one of us is demonically whispering.
Chloe, are you okay?
It's
I
typewriter.
need to call a help.
There's
I
the
need to
lamp.
call help.
This is. I love how abstract it is, but of course,
It's
like,
boring.
yeah, I'm sorry, but you have to really have a feeling for. You have to like the whole abstract stuff.
Oh, Kyla.
Porn stars
Okay, this
died
one is
too.
tough.
Okay.
It's gonna kinda just spin
look
its
at that
own
music.
wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Oh no. Oh no. You play as a porn star trapped inside a hotel.
The hotel closes. Your only way out is to.
To bang 60 hookers.
What do you mean? You're the hooker.
Oh no. Oh no, that's a
That's a yikes, Grizzlies.
yeah.
Yikes, Grizzlies.
See, like,
Why am I
this is it,
lagging?
the
You
whole
gotta
game,
make the climb
and
up
there's
the
nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway.
Oh, no,
Except, for some reason, Kotick gets really fixated on this prison
didn't
that has
hear
all
it.
of this modern furniture.
You gotta make the climb.
And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to
What?
revisit this prison.
Make the
He's
climb
gonna start
up the
over,
rope.
use the same assets,
Wait,
turn it
what
into
screen
something
wasn't
else.
me, by the way?
Okay,
I don't-
cool. Here's version 2.
Oh, I
Okay.
thought you were demonic. What is this? Let me use the same.
Remember, this is the second version.
What the-
Alright, so.
What the fuck?
What the heck?
Horse cock. Yeah,
Hi, boo.
where's your horse?
I need. I said, go down. Oh, dude, start moving into the room.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake. So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Walk backwards. No, walk backwards into it, like the other game.
Whoa. Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then the game ends once you finish all these tasks. He just wanted you to ruin somebody's virtual house. Touch the shells. Join us. Join us, Dad. Touch the shell.
Return.
I wish I can see it.
You can't see it, Kyler?
No.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain
Maybe
of
it's
events
because
to
you're
escape.
Maybe.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a
Oh
version
my
where
God.
the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally,
Maybe.
I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their
Wait, so why
world.
was this?
And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something.
What do you?
And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
What?
Wait, so how can you call it a prison game if it's not even a prison?
It's a prison in your mind. Power within. Okay, now we're gonna make this interesting. Oh, I love it.
It's like the Deadpool scene.
No.
Jump scare. Jump scare.
No.
Mushy mushy. Oh!
Oh no.
Press another
There should be
button.
a jump scare.
Chloe, there hasn't been any jump scare in
It's
this,
a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be
Wait,
able
is
to
there a
talk to
voice?
someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so
Coda's a
far
maniac,
Coda talking
okay.
to himself.
What do you do in the weekdays? I talk to myself. You know?
So what do you do for
Sometimes
that?
it gets-
I talk to
it
myself
gets-
in video games and listen to music.
Sometimes it just gets lonely, you know?
Why are people going?
I hate this.
There's like nothing. Nothing happens. Nothing is going to happen. It's just how do you make games? That's basically what it's the whole thing.
Why now? No, I didn't say that. That's not
Very
what it's
bad.
about.
Wait, is there something out in the distance moving?
It's a lamppost.
Dude, it's Spider-Man.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be
Oh, this is
nice?
taking a deep turn. I don't like it.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Oh, now we're getting serious.
Dude, now we're getting somewhere.
Give us $10.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
I'll be right back.
Oh. Oh.
Wait.
Oh no.
Adios mio.
Keep playing the game. Don't stop playing the game.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
I'm liking it a lot better.
That's what I gather. I read some reviews. The game does have an upturn, I'm just saying. Shut up, Carlos. Stupid.
Man says he's lonely. He puts his lines in. Sus, bro.
I mean, like, if these are how the games originally looked, bravo, because this map design is quite talented. It's quite, it's good. It's very good. I can see. But it depends how long ago, because I don't think the Source Engine, people don't make maps like this. Oh.
No, remember, he's showing this, so this is beforehand from that date.
I just.
Well, wash the dishes.
Huh?
That's stupid. I mean, it's just,
What is that music?
it's got a bit to understand. That's all.
I'm so lonely. I'm so very lonely.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
I'm so confused. What is he doing?
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Because he finally wasn't lonely.
What happens if like something bad happened?
If you didn't want to be lonely, you could have just played Sims 4.
Are you just stuck in this?
That's how you are.
Look at the road.
You're just a
I'm
slave.
glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Hmm.
But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your
See,
companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay
Rob-
alive.
What happens if you stay in the dark? What happens if you stay in the dark?
Yeah. I think that it's not that kind of game. I don't think. Oh, it's
Which is
just
the
like,
whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
but I was wrong.
This one gets a bit goofy.
Watch out.
Okay, so you're in a lecture hall. He's lecturing you about life. What is his head say? Don't worry about moving, you're in the lecture hall.
Oh, hang on.
What are we getting in on?
Take it easy, chill, man.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
Oh.
It's Dormammu.
Okay, buddy. Alright.
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
No, don't do that.
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human.
That's an interesting effect, though.
I think about this game a lot these days.
What happens in 2011? Oh.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this. And it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
It's an opera.
Oh.
Sing Don Giovanni for me, Daniel.
Yeah, come on, Keep going, you ready to tell you to stop for the show?
No.
I'll do the Mario wall.
You're in me.
Nani? Nani? Nani?
Yo, high key, low key, where's the bathroom?
I am super scared.
So you just sit on your lap, or jump on your head, like a Goomba.
Why aren't they like actually people?
But you didn't put textures on.
Music is quite ominous. You're messing. This sounds the dialogue sounds like somebody. I mean, obviously, I imagine that the point is supposed to be like this is what the creator was thinking to himself, based on experiences.
What does it
I
say
imagine.
Oh, he became a teacher.
Saw like a girl.
And then he went on stage.
though?
and then he met someone at a lamppost.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh,
was loud.
and he's into cages because he likes imprisoning someone.
No, I think he got
Maybe
because of
maybe you are you.
oh.
Oh, another cage.
The game ends with
What
this
this symbolizes?
premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success,
Oh.
the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to
I
hide
don't-
himself
See?
away.
You see?
Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with his person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Alright, 2012,
No.
No.
Star Trek.
Are you actually have your eyes closed? Okay, wait. We'll tell you what to do. Press 1. Okay. Alright, we'll see what happens. Okay.
Nothing.
Turn to the left. Okay, wait. Press 2.
Oh,
And then hang on, he doesn't know. Oh.
Oh, he died.
Oh my. Are you for real? Press.
I'm
You should
blind.
probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a
It's
solution,
assuming
by the
that
way.
you.
Why is this not Star Trek?
I can't see anything. Number 2. One.
I can't keep making these. I can't keep making
Maybe I have to talk to people.
Alright. I can't see anything. Oh, elevator. Okay. Alright. Oh wait, you already did that. Okay. Alright. Truth. I can't keep making these. There you go.
See, I was right.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking.
I'm out of ideas.
So
Maybe
where's that
he's running out of ideas.
But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant.
I can't figure out how to.
You know how sometimes a
What does
person
that
will
mean?
just
I can't figure out
deflect
how to.
anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time. It was that kind of thing. Here was the point
I'm
of my
alone.
relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
He's so very lonely.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out.
No.
After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
He finishes the game.
No, finishes something new. So he made a new game, Kyle.
Ooh.
Very Halo. Looks like there was a
Wait, where? I don't see a person. Look up. Okay, ain't no people up there.
Maybe he's doing it for someone.
No. Maybe? Possibly? Oh.
Oh wait, was there a lamp in the last game?
No.
Yeah, there was. It was a space one, right? Or you just jump off.
That's why you collaborate with others. If you bounce off ideas off of each other, the ideas
If the
are
last
limitless.
game featured Coda talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Number one.
What are you talking about?
So difficult. Open the door.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing
That's
both the
interesting.
questions and the answers. Then there's no movement.
Facts.
Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
That really
Praise,
does.
brother, praise.
Oh, there it is. Oh. Hold on, Daniel. Hold on.
Oh.
Just
Oh.
wait a second. Wait until we can hear you, Daniel. Okay, we can hear
Hello.
you now. Alright, things appear to be
Seeing
working.
this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me.
No.
I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything.
Oh
I had never felt so
my
rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
No.
Is that a
Made
girl?
of Play-Doh. Oh.
But
No,
it
Is
didn't
that a
stop.
girl?
After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
He
Possibly.
died. I miss. So sad.
I don't think so. I think you're just this particular
No,
character.
because he said he.
Oh wow.
So Code is a guy.
What does that say?
That's cool. I like that.
Coda's famous now?
And of course, it's the machine.
What did he do? Kill himself? I'm joking. I should stop with these suicide jokes.
Perhaps. What if they find this in your college application?
Oh no! Who's the machine? Coda? So he downloaded his self-consciousness to the computer so that he could live forever.
What the fucking?
Okay, Kyle.
We will find a way to live.
Oh.
What is this?
I say 2.
Wait, so the machine is Coda, and who are you playing as?
Number 1, I think.
They're gonna destroy Coda, no.
It's the only way.
Go back.
Oh!
Oh,
Now don't shoot off all your bullets now.
Don't shoot, yeah.
Can you aim?
We fire 1 shot.
Remember, you can click to fire the gun.
Yeah. Oh! You can destroy the
Oh.
game!
The cage! The
That's
cage!
cool. The cage. 1.
I'll make sure your work dies here.
This is
Why?
quite dark.
this is dark. I don't know.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself.
Why
I'm
would you
thinking
play
that
Coda's
Code is
game?
stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realized that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
Watch you accidentally shoot the car. That would be fun.
Oh,
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this
Oh,
one,
no.
and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know,
Really?
part of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Maybe this game is dedicated to Coda.
Possibly, we'll find out.
This machine's about to get destroyed in an alleyway.
Where?
It's just right there.
Press the right trigger.
Stop! What if you're playing the narrator?
Can you see why I felt
And
like
you-
this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I
Destroy
always
him.
feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a
He's trying to
friend who was in
justify
trouble
himself
and
for
was
something that
unhappy
Coda
and
did.
maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So
Confess.
beautifully
Confess.
happy.
Okay.
Confess!
Okay.
Um,
Oh.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while.
Oh, I thought this was part of the
So
game.
this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made.
Oh no.
So let's take a look.
Has to load. Oh dear.
What if this is not all like not even real? This is just.
It doesn't
like,
have to be.
Game,
It's a story.
yeah, game factor. Yeah.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
I am.
It's the emotional tones are starting to pick up.
I guess every
I
game is
knew
boring at the
it,
very beginning.
dude. I freaking.
This room actually has a maze in it.
Or like, I knew like this game was like kind of like psychological. Oh!
Except that
You're
all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then
Oh, that's
every time you touch
torture.
one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable.
Oh my
the game
god,
goes
Daniel.
beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show
Go
you the
forward,
rest of
turn
the
right.
levels, so when you're ready to
Go to the
continue,
light, go to
press
the light, just
enter
go forward
and
and
I'll
right.
put a bridge over the maze.
Oh, never mind.
Miserable.
Maybe it's his. Maybe it's his It's the maze from earlier.
No guessing. No, I'm joking. Oh,
Yes, it is.
known as
And to
source
be
depth
fair,
textures.
it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
No clue.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code.
What the frick?
Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here though so that we can move on.
You were way off.
You really put that?
151617. 17. What's the point of making these games in the first place if they're not like if you're not allowed to finish? If you're not allowed to finish,
Oh,
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is.
Oh dear.
It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Oh.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed. Where did I
Wait,
screw
so
up?
what is
Oh,
the
no.
story about? Is it about the narrator or the guy?
I'm not liking where this is going.
Did he kill himself?
Oh, I don't want to believe that.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I?
What?
It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
Because he got curious?
And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was... I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had
he's
that,
selfish.
I liked myself.
Deary me. Oh, you got it.
Whew.
Oh. Oof. What?
Oh.
No. No.
What a twist.
And then you stopped. And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened,
Oh,
there
that's
was
no.
no feeling at all. Nothing.
What if
Less than
Hang
he
on.
wasn't like
What does that
shutting
mean?
himself out from the world, but he was shutting himself from the narrator?
Oh.
Oh, pff. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh.
See?
Oh my god.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
Oh dear.
Oh my god.
What does it say? Oh.
Did you breathe?
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work. Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt
Oh,
okay
what
as
the
long as I
heck?
had your
What
work to
is
see
this
myself in.
guy?
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
Is
I
something
need
wrong
to-
with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know.
Jesus.
I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what
Hey.
you want.
Listen,
I'm
buddy.
sorry.
You're
I'm
right,
sorry.
Daniel.
Please.
It's not a big deal.
Start making games again.
Oh,
Please
Daniel.
help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want
Oh, dear.
whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself.
Jesus
Please.
Christ.
I'm fading. And all
Dude,
I
you
want
need to
is
go
to know that I'm going to be okay.
Oh dear.
You didn't realize that, Daniel?
Shut. We were busy experiencing the dialogue.
What a twist.
Epilogue.
It's over.
No, there's one more.
No,
This is
the
epilogue.
whole point is to reach out to Coda.
He wouldn't publish it. Wait, no, not possible.
Or get on the train.
More love, more praise, more people
Get on the
telling
train,
me
you
that
missed
I'm
it, you missed
good.
the door. Go back.
Always more.
Go back. That red door.
It's like a disease.
He's comparing himself to a disease now. Jesus Christ.
He's a stalker.
Well, I guess people have their problems.
I
Yeah.
know.
Oh,
Solution.
It's how he pictured him.
What the fuck? What the fuck is?
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed.
oh.
Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Prisons are cool. Prisons can be cool.
It's okay, Justin.
What?
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are.
Oh,
They'll hate you.
Oh, there's
first
room.
Bogler language.
That. Oh. Oh, okay. I was like.
Where are you?
On the moon.
Wait, so this isn't Coda's game now.
He's in the minds of the Onion Men.
If I knew
No,
that my life depended
it's
on
the
finding
mines from
something to
the
be driven
rocket
by other than
movie.
validation,
October
what
Sky.
would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
So did he make this game, or did Coda make this game?
I don't think that's important, honestly.
What now?
Yeah.
Either way.
I'm so confused. Is the game gonna end or not?
This is epilogue, so it's probably like the last
Is
one.
it? Wait,
I think I need to go.
20 more minutes.
And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do.
Oh
I have
my,
a lot
he's
that I
just
need to
leaving us
make
like
up
that?
for. so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Did he have a breakdown? Like crying?
This is quite strange. I don't know what to make of this.
We should have looked at the rating of this game.
I did. This rating has all positive ratings.
Dang. I thought it was boring.
We were mistaken, Kyle.
I know. It's not about the destination. Wait. Yeah, it's not about the destination. It's the
Stop talking.
journey.
Just because you said
Fall down the hole.
Cave up. Going. What's in there?
What's in your wallet?
Good. That was fucking creepy.
Why should be here?
I'm back. Do you like my games? You don't get to quit.
oh no.
Quit button is removed from GUI. God, I'm loving this design and this.
It looks nice.
It's really different.
Very. You need to name the video Hypocrite's Guide, because we started off at the beginning like, this game is boring, it's shit, I don't like it. And then at the end we're like, oh, it's an abstract masterpiece.
I just want to say, Ryan, that was all you. I'm still sticking by what I said in this.
Yeah, but you see, what made this interesting though is the narrator.
I think it's.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's all the character. This would just be. It would just be weird without him.
Oh no.
Elevation.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
but
elevation. No, it's elevation.
Yeah, but it's either or. It's either gonna make him float or it's gonna kill him.
Before you jump in, did the narrator kill himself?
My ears. Oh.
He's fine.
Well, it's levitation actually. You could be elevated by levitating, but
It's just black.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh
Oh,
no, that looks miserable.
It's a maze.
Oh, it's a flat 2D texture.
Oh, it looks like Maze Runner. If you look down, See, it's like the box in the center. You gotta run around in the maze.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand it. It's not working.
Don't look too deep into it.
What do you think? Complex.
Oh, he's just lost. He's just lost.
Enigmatic.
Oh, okay.
Well, wait, there might be more. Let's. Oh. Okay. Or R. Coda's first name is R.
No, what if it's a narrator?
Yeah, I think it would be the narrator.
Okay, so, alright, none of that was true, thank God. I see what you're getting at. I like that.
Coda's simple-minded and narrator's complex. What's chapter select?
Yeah, that was quite strange.
How many chapters were there? First one chapters left. I want to see.
How long did that
Oh,
take
so was
us?
this based on the book?
There's a
Where do you get that from? What?
Kyle.
Where the fuck did you get that from? Oh, cause
Chapter?
your comment was so mind-bogglingly stupid that I didn't even comprehend what you were trying to connect there. No, that's just the structure of stories, Kyle, not necessarily just the book.
But it was based off a book, right?
Oh Lord.
You want to see the inside of my brain?
Was
Oh yeah.
Because he's lost and he's trying to find something.
But like, what's the significance of the lamppost? Like, what?
I like.
Oh.
I like how you.
Oh, okay, that makes
So
sense.
then why did
He
he?
said like,
Oh.
"What is this? This looks like crap." In the intro.
So then why was he like pushing that the lamps were created by Coda, but then later he admits that he's the one, or
To make Coda look insane or whatever.
maybe he was just trying to create more interest by blaming somebody else. Because if you
Mm.
say yourself like I added the lamps, then people would wonder, well, why did you put the lamps in? You can explain it. You're the narrator. But if he says that somebody else put them there, then he